So before we continue, I'm actually going to do a quick poll, and I don't think I reminded Rebecca about this part. But here's a question about food technology to see how much you might know about this program already. So if you can answer the question that's on your screen by just selecting which you think is the best answer there. Don't be shy. We can't tell who's answering which thing. I can only see numbers. So, you know, you're not going to be singled out for something you say.
Sure, I could do that. So let's see. I think a food technologist could be developing a vegan cheese. They might be measuring vitamin C levels in orange juice. Could be inspecting a pasta plant, but probably not recommending a diet for an elderly patient with diabetes. That would be more in the area of a nutritionist or a dietitian.
Great. So 3 of you got the right answer on that, and that's great. Okay, so our next slide is a video. Now I'm going to actually stop sharing and switch screens to my other screen so I can share this video with you. Now, if you can't hear the sound on this video, please do let me know, but it should work. Here we go.
Great job.
We have been making wines, and today we finally get to bottle it and drink it and have different flavors that different groups made. I chose food tech because you get to learn everything about food, which is like so exciting. I love being at BCIT and being part of this program.
Basically, food technology helps students work with food manufacturers to make food that is safe to eat and is of high quality. So here at BCIT, we teach the food technology students how to develop and implement the food safety and quality systems that are going to run. And we also teach them the various test methods for supporting those food safety and quality programs. Students that graduate in food technology work with food safety programs, and so they're trained to develop and implement them. These are very significant programs now for the food industry, and so our students are really capable of carrying those programs on and expanding them.
At the packaging line, we have to make sure that the product is at its highest quality and also that we're producing at the most efficient rate. So I love my job because I get to control the quality of the product and to meet the highest standards. When I started in the food industry, I realized that what I learned in the program actually is what I'm going to do. So you're prepared for the job.
The best kind of student for food technology is somebody that really cares about food. So somebody that might like to experiment with food, producing it and working with it. Just being that close to the food that we're producing, it really makes you feel good about what you do for a living.
And I'm just going to flip back to my presentation now. Sorry about that, a bit of flipping back and forth here. So I hope you enjoyed that video and I hope it was informative for you. And now I'm going to pass it over to Rebecca.
Sorry, I just was getting myself off being muted. Seems to be the Zoom thing these days. So, so we're looking at food technology. So I will be speaking about food technology. And should I ask you to go to the next slide? Erin, is that how it's working? There we go. And so what is food technology anyway? And so the film gave you a little idea of that, but it's an area of food science that ensures food manufacturers are producing safe and wholesome food. And what we're doing is we're giving you the tools for you to go into a food manufacturing facility and help manufacturers run their production lines properly and to develop new food products that they might need. So it's working in a very fast-paced environment, trying to get food out every day. And so it's a great profession that way. So I guess next slide, Erin. And so are you curious and fascinated by the science behind food? So it always helps to actually be wanting to cook with food, because that will actually really help you in your courses. And are you process oriented and accurate? And nowadays we all work in teams, but you also may be working independently, so comfortable with both aspects. And of course, interested in working in an exciting and fast-paced environment, which is what food manufacturing is, that daily deadline. You really feel good about almost working in a team every day to put food out on the trucks for consumers to buy. So next slide. So what do I need? So I need some high school English, math, and chemistry courses to get in. I need an aptitude for science and an interest in learning about food and helping make sure it's the best it can be. So we're looking at the program. So we're training students in food technology basics. And so we teach a variety of things. So we got food processing, quality control, food testing, analysis, different ways when we do R&D, different ways of measuring the food. You know, what are we making? Did we make the same as the last time we tried making the food? So we got all sorts of tools for that. It's a 2-year full-time diploma program. So much like other programs at BCIT. And like BCIT's other courses, it's a combination of lectures and labs. And so you get both the theory and the hands-on learning that you need for industry. And we have some capstone projects, so an industry sponsored project where you're doing a project for an industry client. So industry comes to BCIT and says, we'd really like to have students work on this particular project. So we set those up, and you are working on that in your last term of the 2-year program. And we also have a capstone product development course where you're actually developing a new food. And quite often it will be actually at the behest of a company that's wanting BCIT to maybe help them out. And so what's our career outlook? So most of our grads are working within 2 months of graduating, and you could be working in quite a large company, or you could be working at a relatively small company, because we've got a great diversity of industry in British Columbia. And so we've just had Saputo moving into a new plant out in, I believe it's Port Coquitlam now, from their place in Burnaby. Molson's has gone into another plant, I believe up in Chilliwack. So we've got some really quite large processors, and then ranging down to much smaller. And well, with having your applied work experience, you have the skills that employers are looking for. And as I said in the film, one of the big things is to actually help run the food safety programs. They're fairly comprehensive. So you have all the tools needed to run those programs. And so we have a picture here of some previous grads. They came to BCIT to learn about food technology, and they set up a company after they graduated that produces tempeh. And so they've been around for a few years now, actually.
And thank you for that, Rebecca. I'm going to pass it over to Andrew now. Andrew is a graduate of our program, and he's going to, there he is, just has to unmute himself. And Andrew, would you like to share a little bit about why you chose food technology?
Yeah, you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Andrew Williamson. I am a recent graduate from the food technology program. I graduated last summer. Kind of starting from the beginning, I wanted to get into the food technology program because of my interest in both food, mostly from a culinary standpoint, but I do have family that are farmers, so I did have a bit of that appreciation for farming in the primary production. So my interest in food, but also in science. So I am also a graduate from UBC with a bio degree. Didn't really use it, didn't really follow a career with it. And in the time between my UBC degree and me going to food technology, I really started to get more interest in food. So my thinking with coming to the food technology program is that I'd be able to use both my skills in food and my knowledge in food and my past education in science. And then once I was in the program, it felt like a really good fit. I mean, I was learning some things that were familiar to me, but kind of learning them from a different aspect, and getting a lot of new knowledge as well. Just what Rebecca was saying with those two big projects at the end of the year, those were definitely big highlights for me. The product development, which was something, is something that I'm definitely interested in a career, hopefully in the future, was a really good opportunity to use all the skills and knowledge that you would learn over in the 2 years, to kind of put them forward to, make something new. And the industry project as well was another really good opportunity to use everything that I had learned. And then just right now, after I graduated, I am working at a produce processing facility. So we supply a lot of the restaurant industry. We're chopping lettuce, we're cutting carrots, dicing peppers, we're doing all that stuff. And I feel like the food technology program set me up really well for what I'm doing there. And hopefully here I'll be able to maybe start going to the more product development side. But overall, I would say the food technology program was a really good asset in putting me where I am now.
Thank you, Andrew. That was great to hear. It's always good to hear from also somebody who's been in the program recently rather than just our instructors. So thank you. And now I'm going to talk a bit about admissions to the program and how we make that happen. So as Rebecca mentioned, food technology is a 2-year diploma program. We take in students once a year, every September, and our application window, so you're allowed to start applying October 1st, and applications are accepted until we fill the seats, so until the program fills up. So we do recommend applying a little bit earlier so that you don't get caught at the end when the program's already full. There are limited seats available, so it is kind of a first qualified, first accepted. So that's that. I'm just going through notes as I do this. So the steps to apply. So everything is done online now for applying. So first you'd want to review the requirements and the application dates on our website. And I'll talk about the requirements in a few minutes. You'd want to convert all your documents to PDF files. That includes transcripts. You want to complete the mandatory applicant questionnaire that we have on our website. That gives us a bit of information about you. And then you want to apply online. So the entrance requirements for the food technology program. It's fairly straightforward here on the screen, but again, this information is also available on our website. And if there's any discrepancy between this presentation and the website is always the be all, the end all. So the entrance requirements right now are proficiency in speaking and listening. We need to have 2 years of full-time education in English in an English-speaking country, or an equivalent test or score. English 12 with a 67%, or English First Peoples 12, 67%, or 3 credits of post-secondary English. You need to have chemistry 11 with a 67% or greater. Math, you need to have pre-calculus 12 with 67%, or foundations of math 12 with 73%. So those are the courses you need to look at taking if you're currently in high school. If you're not, if you've finished high school and you don't have some of those courses, you can always go back and get them through your local school district. Generally has free online courses or in-person courses you could do with those. So English Studies 12, chemistry, and math. Now the qualities to be a successful student in this program, beyond those specific required entrance requirements: strong communication skills. You need to be good at speaking, listening, reading, and writing, because you are working on a team, as a few people have mentioned tonight. So you're going to want to be able to communicate well with them. An interest in analytical work, an attention to detail, some problem solving and decision-making skills, and again, teamwork and people skills. Those are always important. So when you have your transcripts, so for uploading your transcripts, you have two options. You can either scan or take a picture of a paper transcript, an official transcript, and then upload it to our system, or you can download your digital transcript from your previous school and you can upload that as is. If you have gone to BCIT before, we do not need a copy of your transcript as we already have those marks on file. Now the admissions process, we just described kind of what you would do on your end to apply, but the admissions process on our end is that we take your applications into our admissions department. We go through, make sure you've got all the requirements, check it all off, and if you have all the requirements and a seat is available, we put an offer out to you for that seat. And then you would pay the commitment fee, which I believe at that point is about $500 for a domestic student. Now with the food technology program, there are some laddering opportunities. This program does ladder into our Bachelor of Technology in Environmental Health. That's public health inspector program, and that's a wonderful program to look at after you complete food technology. You can also ladder into the Bachelor of Technology and Technology Management in BCIT if you're interested in that as well. There's always room for growth. Now, student support. So what happens once you get to BCIT? Once you're in, we just kind of let you flounder? No, we want to make sure that you're a successful student. So we have a number of different services on campus that help our students be successful. The first one I'll mention here on the slide is Indigenous Initiatives. This is specifically for Indigenous students, and it helps ensure a smooth transition for them into their first year of study. They offer peer-to-peer mentorship, a welcoming gathering place, and help provide clarification on Indigenous funding. We also have our Student Financial Aid and Awards Department, and they offer information about scholarships and bursaries and financial aid. So if you're looking for some funding for your education, you can definitely speak to them. They have lots of options available. And they also have an award that I want to highlight called the President's Entrance Award. And this selection for this award is based not only on academic achievement, but also volunteer and community service. And not a lot of people know about it. So generally not a lot of people apply for it. So it's something worth checking out. I'd like to remind people of that. For accessibility services, this department is for students who might have a permanent or temporary disability or some barrier to accessibility. If you've been accepted into a program and you believe you may need some accommodation to help be successful in that program, I encourage you to connect with accessibility services. Our Student Health Services is a health clinic located on the Burnaby campus. They provide medical care for current BCIT students year-round, and they're a great resource to have if you're not able to get to your family doctor or not able to get an appointment at another clinic near you. It's very convenient to have them right on our campus. We also have a counseling and student development department, and they are available to help you enhance your educational performance, maximize your success while you're here. And finally on this slide, recreation services. They're here to help promote our physical well-being. So they have a full service gym, and it's a great resource. They have intramurals, they have fitness classes, and it's a great place to kind of take a break from the studying and work on other aspects of your life. So if you have any questions about this, and I'm sure you might going forward, any questions about your transcripts, about requirements, one of your best resources is program advising. So their details and contact information is here on this slide. Most up-to-date information on how to contact them is always available on bcit.ca/program advising. But they have telephone advising, drop-in advising, Zoom as well as in person. And they also respond to inquiries by email. So there's kind of three options of how to get a hold of them. And I've been told that email is, while it's often easier for some of us, it's not the quickest way. So if you have a very time-sensitive question, maybe go something other than the email route. If it's one that you can kind of wait a while, email is just good too. And whether or not you decide to become BCIT student, or whether you are still kind of making decisions on your career journey or on your education journey, I really urge you to stay in touch with us. We do have accounts on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and we are quite active on all of these. You can follow us, you can like, post, you can send us a message on any of these platforms, and we'll be able to direct you to somebody able to answer your questions if we're not able to ourselves. And there's also other ways to learn more about BCIT, our programs, our campus. Some of those are listed here. I'd also like to mention that we're running info sessions like this all week this week. So we started them yesterday and our last one's on Friday. So if there's other programs you're interested in, we have a few tomorrow, on Thursday, and on Friday as well, as I mentioned. So feel free to check those out and register for as many as you like. We'd welcome your questions at any of our info sessions about any of our programs. And with that, I will go to questions and answers. So if anyone has any questions, like I said, you're welcome to type them into the chat if that's what you're most comfortable with. Or if you want to unmute yourself and ask a question, or raise your hand, and I'll make sure we get that answered. You're welcome to do that as well. We're not a large group tonight, so we definitely have, oh, and we already have a hand raised. Is it Mata?
Hello, yes. Thanks for the great presentation. Just want to ask a question. Maybe Andrew can answer this question. Or yeah, the question is that what are the main job titles that graduates can usually apply after this 2-year program? What are those job titles that we can usually try to apply for?
Do you want me to answer that, Rebecca, or you wonder if you might have a better idea? I mean, I'll say that my title right now is QA technologist, and QA associate, QA technologist, QC associate would be a lot of the positions you would expect to get into after, but Rebecca also might have a better idea of that.
Oh, thanks, Andrew. That really does cover it. So yeah, it's anything that's kind of saying R&D or food technology, technologists, food. Let me just think about this. Technician, food technician, something like that. And you might even end up being some kind of manager quite quickly if you're applying to a small plant. They don't have many in the position. So if you get hired by Saputo, you'll be a technician, but you might actually be ending up working pretty quickly towards being a quality manager if you're in a smaller plant.
Thanks for
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, and one more question, if it is possible. My background is in chemical engineering, and I'm graduated from bachelor degree. And do you think that it can help me for finding a job, or it can be a good, I don't know, base for this program or not?
Oh, totally. That would be a great degree to have. So you would actually be understanding a lot of the science already, and you're being from that area, you're very process oriented. So it's a good fit.
Yeah, thanks.
Totally.
Thank you. And I think the next hand that went up was Jay Mayer. Did you want to ask a question?
Hello, yes, it's James, thank you. It
James.
Says Jay Mayer, but it's actually James. Thank you for this presentation. I was wondering if one of you could maybe say a few words just about the more brief certificate diploma program, including whether or not it can be like a distance learning. In my point of view, I actually do work in the food industry, and I've had plenty of years of firsthand, hands-on experience. But I am interested in learning a little bit more about the the academic details and the science behind it. And I noticed that it covered some of the production aspects well. So I'd be interested in expanding my skills on those. But could you say a few words about the certificate program and maybe how that relates to what I asked about? Thanks.
Sure. We have a food safety associate certificate, and there's a group of required courses in it, and then you could choose from a variety of other courses. And so the required courses are food safety based. So one of them is about learning about putting in what we call the preventive controls or prerequisite programs for food safety plans. And then there's a second course about putting in these food safety plans, which happen to be called HACCP plans. And so that and internal auditing, I think, is the third required course, but then you can also choose other courses to go with that. And there's a variety of courses that are offered around supporting that. I actually happen to really like the courses that come out of School of Business around operations management. And I don't know if lean manufacturing or Six Sigma rings any bells with anybody, but those are techniques to help any manufacturers do things better. And so those are, or continuous improvement is something that resonates with you. Those courses are about giving you the tools for continuous improvement. So there's a lot of those courses will really help you if you're wanting to actually expand your knowledge, expand what you know about the food industry.
Okay, and did you say operations management? That's another school you have there, or
That's in the School of Business.
A School of Business, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And those courses, if you look on the Food Safety Associate Certificate website, those courses that are listed, like getting a lean, there's a couple that are around lean manufacturing. Those are all housed in the School of Business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're great courses. The instructors are fantastic.
And I guess it'll say for each individual course whether or not it's accessible by remote learning or whether you have to come into person.
Yeah, it really is.
Or maybe a bit of both, or maybe a bit of both.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to say right now because what's happened with us is we're now putting some of our part-time studies courses, we're making an effort to actually put them online that for remote learning, partly because of the pandemic. So that is happening. So you will have a greater choice over the next few years of doing that.
Okay. And finally, like for the associate certificate, does it have the same sort of timeline in terms of when you have to apply and when it's offered, or is it more of like an ongoing thing throughout the year?
You can choose the courses when you want to take them. The biggest limitation really is actually around whether or not there's enough people that want to take it at a time. So is it being offered? Is there enough people that want to take the course? And so there can be a challenge at times, depending on the time of year. So you can take the courses one at a time, and then you don't have to declare till later. I'd like my food safety associate certificate. So it is a matter of just catching when the courses run. And if you're having trouble getting signed up, and it seems like one course is not running at all, you can contact us, and what we can do is make an effort to recruit people that actually run the course.
Okay, sounds good. So to learn more about the associate certificate, you can look that up specifically on your food sciences information.
Yes, it should be under there. And you can also email me. I'm happy I can go on and on about it. So,
okay,
I can help you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And that's why I just put up Rebecca's email address, because I saw where that was going.
Yeah,
terrific.
Definitely do feel free to email, contact program advising, as I mentioned earlier, but also Rebecca's available by email too if you have follow-up questions as we go along after the session. I think the next hand up was Dave. Dave, would you like to ask a question?
Well, I kind of had this kind of the same situation as the last gentleman, and I just want to touch a little more on that. So when you say, sorry, I'm talking with Rebecca, I think, talking about those extra, so you had 3 courses that were available online. I've done a little bit of research, and then after that, you to get your certificate, you can pick and choose whatever. Those pick and choose courses, they eventually, you're saying, will come online?
Oh, it's hard to say. Like things are in play right now, so I can't speak for example, School of Business has these courses running, and they've been night school, for example, or part-time studies. We just know that more are going on remotely. So
Okay.
you really have to talk to
because right now I noticed
area.
they're not available.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, just the 3 online ones are available.
Well, get a hold of us, because what we are doing quite often is collecting up a waiting list, and then when we have enough people, we'll run.
Okay, so my next question kind of goes along with those ones that are not available but in person? How long are those courses?
It varies. So the ones that we have, the food safety ones, are about 24 hours. So we have one that runs right now over 6 months. You can take it as at your own speed. We have another one that's right now we're offering remotely, and it's within 3 days, but that one's actually been converted to being taken over 6 months at your own speed. So
Okay.
many of them are about 24 hours long.
Okay, about 24 hours long.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess the cost is about $750 a course.
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Thank
think
you,
that
Dave.
answers my questions.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for
You're
your time,
welcome.
guys.
Yeah, no problem.
No problem. And then I believe the next hand up was Ramajot.
Yeah,
I'm so
hi.
sorry when I say people's names wrong. I'm just
No, it's all good. My question is about the requirements to enter the in a course. Is that I had my my higher graduation in math, chemistry, physics, and after that, back from my home country in India. And then I had my bachelor's in computer science, mathematics, and statistics. So, and then here, I had my post graduation diploma in computer science. So, I have a question. So, I need IELTS exam or the English exam here again for entrance in a course.
I think Maninder might want to answer that one. Is that?
Yeah, I can help with that one.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, you did a 1-year program or a 2-year program here in Canada?
2-year program. It's in a web designing.
Okay. And did you take any English or communication courses as part of that program?
Yes.
Okay. So
it's just in a I think 1 or 2 course.
Okay. Well, from what I'm hearing then, you're likely okay. There's 2 parts to the English requirement. There's a speaking and listening component and a reading and writing component. So if you've studied for 2 years, which means you probably have 12 or more courses, you're going to be okay with the speaking and listening requirement. For the reading and writing requirement, we need at least 1 course that is an English or communications course. Now, I can't say for certain because we need to know exactly the course. So I'll send you my email address and you can correspond with me via email and I can look into that for you. And then for the pre-calc 12 and the chemistry 11 requirement, that you can use courses from your high school in India or your post-secondary, completed them in post-secondary. And if you did do a math, like a pure math kind of based course here as well, that could be acceptable as well.
Perfect. So I'm really confused about the English test because I did study here too for 2 years now. I'm totally confused about that. So I'll send you my other course list. You'll check and let me know.
Yes, I can. You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
That's something that probably we should have said a little more previously, but we just heard from CFIA there. We talked about laddering into other programs from food technology, and one of them was environmental health. They're hiring that group for the CFIA, Canadian Food Inspection Agency. I just heard from an inspector now, they're really looking for people. So there's good opportunities with having food technology as your core program and then doing the extra 2 years for environmental health. And if you're wanting to be an inspector at that level, you can also get jobs there.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, it's like some people that's really what the area they want to go into. So
yeah, I think the most important thing that you keep stressing to me about this program is there's so many options and so many different ways you can go after you're done the program. There's not just one specific kind of pathway.
yeah, exactly. I mean, we've had people end up in sales, selling food ingredients. That's actually quite lucrative. So it's, yeah, there's all sorts of things you can do.
Okay, well, I don't see any more questions coming in, so I think we'll be able to end it there. Now, I just wanted to remind everybody that you're welcome to contact Rebecca or program advising after this session. I know sometimes, you know, give it an hour, give it a few days, you come up with a question that you feel you should have asked and you just didn't quite have the words for it or get to it at the time. And again, like I mentioned before, we did record this session, so everyone that registered will get an email probably beginning of next week at this point, with a copy of the slide deck that we shared tonight and with a video recording of this session so you can review it on your own time. And please, again, do check out our website for all the exact entrance requirements and details and how to apply. And we hope to see some of you at BCIT sometime soon. So thank you again for joining us and have a good evening.